We are clearly sitting in the historic town park in historic Aurora, amidst the heritage homes and the buildings of southeast Aurora. And I think it's a very fitting place to host an interview with my guest this week, because quite frankly, heritage and history are certainly synonymous with this guest. I am of course speaking about David Hurd. So welcome, David.
Thank you.
And thanks for suggesting this location. It's fantastic. I would never have thought of here.
This is an absolutely beautiful location, and it's an honor to be on your show.
You know, as is my process when we have a guest, I like to give a little bit of a bio, and I know it's sometimes embarrassing for guests, like we talked about, but you know, you're virtually a fixture at virtually every town and community event, and I'm sure our viewers would appreciate knowing just a little bit more about you, so maybe we'll indulge me just for a few minutes. Obviously, you and your family have a very long history in our community, stretching back almost hundreds, literally, of years, like early 1800s, right? And you yourself have lived in Aurora for your entire life.
You won't say how many years,
35.
but half a century.
We'll go with 35.
Yes.
And you recently gone back to school before you went to Seneca College in King, and you graduated quite recently with very high honors, I understand. And now you're working as a social service worker.
I actually worked for Carey's Place Autism Services. I have for the last 6 years. But I went back to school, decided to get the credentials, and the learnings I thought I needed to help out the community more. And I want to thank you. You were a great bit of some advice you gave me about going back to school and looking at university, so I really appreciate that help. And the members of the community, they were incredible.
But you've always been engaged in the community, done a lot of community work, as you're already mentioning Carey's Place. But I believe you were recognized in 2010 with the Character Community Award for Social Justice, and also in recognition of your passion for heritage and community, you're an appointee with the Heritage Advisory Committee.
Yes.
I also understand that you're a poet, and you're a former columnist with the Auroran and the Banner. Obviously an avid volunteer. You collect fresh produce, for heaven's sake, for the food bank. But I have to say, his passion, ladies and gentlemen, is the ever-popular Aurora Spirit Walk, which you founded 4 years ago, and it continues to grow in popularity. I can well attest, and that's going to be our focus tonight. So, that's quite the bio. Did I miss anything?
Let's not talk about me. Let's work our way into the Spirit Walk and how we can help the organization that we're helping achieve.
Okay, so I think it's pretty safe to say you have an obvious passion for heritage and history, and in particular, obviously, Aurora's. You collect artifacts, you know, and sort of like the armchair historian for our community. So,
One of them.
why are you so interested in history and heritage, in particular in Aurora?
Well, I'll be honest with you, when it was about 6 years ago that I started looking into our family roots. I didn't know a lot about our family also. So I started, you know, digging, to use a funny little pun there, into our history, and found out we are unrelated to John Mosley, the street that's right behind us, and I have a relative who was the mayor of Toronto back in 1857. So immediately I started feeling more pride of how I fit into the community, that we were builders, and it made me feel more connected to the community, and finding that inspired me to become, I guess, a helper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the interest in the history just launched me into talking to a lot of people and finding out what they knew about our history. Most of the things I found out is by interviewing the seniors, and people have shared just the most incredible stories, the community stories, and some of those stories are the things we share in the Spirit Walk, not just necessarily in history, but incredible stories on how people have helped people. And I'm going to actually share a lot more of those this year in the Spirit Walk.
So you're into not just the physical history, so the heritage of Aurora, but you're also interested in, you know, the social history and collecting the, you know, the oral histories of our community.
Exactly. I found a great interest in the visual part of it too. I started searching out and finding old photos and different articles I've uncovered online. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest pieces that I think I uncovered to bring back to Aurora was actually the Petch Bible. And I also brought back to Aurora a postcard which happened to be ordering 1,000 telegraph cards in 1888. By the way, that's the year Aurora was incorporated. And it was signed by D.W. Doane, who happens to be the son of Doane family that named Aurora. So these are things that, I don't know, I guess I've kind of fallen upon. And like I said, brought them back to Aurora, and hopefully one day we can get them displayed in a museum or somewhere. So.
And that kind of segues nicely into, let's talk about the market and your booth at the market. I mean, you've been involved in the market for literally years now. And I think your booth is a pretty familiar, popular site there. Like, you've got a great spot that everyone can see, and I think it's great. So can you tell us a little bit about your booth? Because you have some of the artifacts, like postcards and things in your booth, do you not? So tell us a little bit about that.
We don't generally bring out things that are perishable, like paper items, but this year one of the things I've been sharing is actually an original sewing machine that was from the Sisson Shoe Company. And I'm very proud to have that because both my grandfather, my father, and myself all worked for Sisson's at some time. And Sisson's is very famous for making a lot of footwear for our military in the First and Second World War. So to know that we have the sewing machine that actually stitched boots for the gentlemen that fought for our freedoms gives me great pride. And people will come past and see it, and they ask questions. And hopefully in September I'm going to have some more artifacts to honor Spirit Walk Aurora. So, but not perishable paper items.
Yeah. But so your booth clearly, I mean, you don't sell things. I mean, I know it's the market, but yours is more community focused, does it not?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we do sell some items like, you know, I will sell the odd shirt that has a Aurora image or something. The main focus of our booth is for people to come into the market and become familiar. Especially, it's amazing to see that people that will come to the booth and look at the pictures, and I will start communicating with them and find out they've only been in Aurora for 6 or 7 months. And they want to know about our history. They're fascinated when they hear the stories. And as fascinated I was, you know, just a few years ago. So I'm kind of a newbie like them. Even though I grew up here, I'm learning just like the new people here in Aurora. So I guess with that connection, I guess what we're really trying to do is make people who are new to Aurora feel that they're very welcome here and this is their home. And to bring that sense of community pride.
And make history come alive.
Exactly.
And make it tangible.
Exactly. 100%.
So part of that, bringing, you know, the community and history to the residents is your very popular Spirit Walk. And I know all about it, but you know, for some of our viewers might not know about the Spirit Walk. So can you maybe explain what it is? You know, how did it come about?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll give it hopefully the Reader's Digest version. The Spirit Walk came about, I wanted to honor a young man who passed away when I was working at Carrie's place. And I made the joke one day, how was I going to honor my little spirit? He was a teenager and he was nonverbal. And then that just progressed to telling stories, community stories, and then these, you know, adding the spirit stories and, you know, stories community people had shared about unusual occurrences in the town. And it just progressed, and the more stories I collected, I thought, okay, now I've got to tell them. And actually, I should take a little step further. I owe my grade 2 teacher, Ursula Hostick. Actually, her husband, Len, was a counselor in Aurora.
Yes.
Ursula, I was actually, I only have partial hearing in the one ear, and I had quite a speech impediment when I was young, and she got me involved in public speaking. And it built my self-esteem, and it stopped me from talking out of the corner of my mouth. And so here we are, many, many years later, and I'm using the gift that she brought out in me. So I owe her a lot, and I guess there's a little message there to any teachers out there is if you don't believe you can instill something and really make somebody build their self-esteem, well, it worked with me. So take that. What basically I do is I walk people around the town and share all these stories with them, and we've been doing it for this will be actually our 4th year.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not totally creepy. So.
Well, I know that you've done these Spirit Walks and before in support of local charities, but this one, I believe tonight you promote a specific walk in support of YRAP. And I believe the name of the event is Ancestor of the Ghost of the St. Lawrence Market. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, when you mentioned about how did the Spirit Walk start, I ended up investigating my history itself. I didn't know anything, and I ended up finding out I had this uncle who was the great, get the number of grades wrong, but who was the mayor back, as I said, in 1857. John Hutchinson is known as the ghost of the St. Lawrence Market. I went down and investigated that, and that inspired me in history. One thing I didn't know when I was down there and investigated more history here in Aurora is it turns out that Mr. Hutchinson also owned a property of land here in Aurora back in the 1850s, which I was unaware of. So, yeah, I happen to be related to the famous ghost of the St. Lawrence Market, and I thought, it's a great way to market, so I basically have added that, and we also did the event last year at the affiliate circuit for
That's
Western
right.
Mediums.
Sorry,
And
excuse us for one
yes.
second. Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, it turned out when we did that event, there was apparently a spirit, they said, at the affiliate circuit
Yes, I remember that.
by the name of Amy Dunning. Well, what shocked me even more about the Spirit Walk was when I went and found some old land deeds from the 1860s of my relative John Hutchinson's property in Roy. Our neighbor was in fact Amy Dunning's property right adjacent. So these are things now I'm investigating about the Spirit Walk that is making it basically kind of like walking theater.
Yeah.
That all the stories kind of segue together, yeah, that's kind of what Spirit Walk is all about.
So this year it's in support of YRAP. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, when I was attending Seneca College, Seneca actually had me attend, gave me some tickets to attend the York Regional Abuse Program's gala here at Donardo's. And they made an announcement at the York Regional Abuse Program that they had a lot of children on their waiting list, waiting for treatment. And I was so inspired by that, I thought, how can I get involved to help these young people who, if they don't get help early intervention, they end up becoming sometimes a broken adult. And I kind of know through my life history that what it's like to be challenged, to kind of put the past behind you. And so I approached them and Alison Beck, who happens to be the director there, and told her what I was interested in doing. And they jumped on board and said they would be more than glad to receive the proceeds. So we are giving 100% of the proceeds to their charity. And hopefully some of the young people on the waiting list will get the help that they need and become healthy adults who will be well involved in the community.
So you're pretty passionate about the work of this group, from your own personal experience.
It's not a secret, Alison. When I wrote for the Aurora, I did it was a three-parter, and I told my story. And I've been stopped on the street, and I've had people say to me, Mr. Hurd, thank you for sharing. You helped me move away from my stuff. And the one thing I will say, I thanked you. There was many people. I always say that my return to go back to school to Seneca College and graduate. I mean, I owe a police officer, I owe political people, I owe my teacher, I owe community members. I mean, the list. There's that old phrase. They say it takes a village to raise a child. I changed that a little bit and said, but it also takes a lot more to fix a broken adult. And this one-time kind of a little bit broken adult. The reason that I am so involved in the community is to say thank you and be more confident. That self-esteem is strong now, and that's what I want to pass on to by helping out YWAP.
And that's what this group does. It takes
100%.
children who are in need, who have been suffering, and help them make the transition from pain to a life of purpose. Exactly,
and that's I truly believe in that, and that's one of the things I talk about with the Spirit Walking community. Is like I said, when we go around, I will tell people stories about how people have helped others in the community decades before, back in the 30s and the 20s and things like that. I mean, there was a story just down the street here on Marmont where community members back just turn of the century, there was a widow who didn't have any money. They actually collected money and they built her a house, and that house is part of it still stands today. These are the type of things that inspire a community. What's that they say about history? If we don't sort of look into it, research it, we're destined to repeat it. What I'd like to see us repeating is things like that, where we all become like one cohesive unit of helping each other, and that's really a vision that I believe in.
So, well, actually, that sounds like a fantastic vision for the community. But getting back to the Spirit Walk, because as some of my viewers know, I like scary movies and I like anything spooky and creepy, well, within reason. So I'm going to have to ask you a cheeky question. So put on your hat for the cheeky question. Do you believe in spirits or ghosts, David?
Is that a loaded question? I'm open-minded. I do believe that people should believe in something. I believe that when people tell me stories about things that have happened to them, I know they believe. And I believe what they're saying. And I continue to research these wonderful stories. I will say I've had a couple of things that I've kind of questioned how is that possible?
Really?
Oh yes, 100%. As a matter of fact, we have a video that maybe we should post it on YouTube, and this lamp is very powerful. My grandfather actually gave me this lamp. I think he took it from the railroad here in Aurora. But anyway, he...
It's not stealing.
No. At the Pioneer Cemetery, at the Anglican Church, on the inaugural Devil's Night, we'll call it, Friday night before Halloween, I was talking to them standing in this Pioneer Cemetery, and hung the lamp up on a post that had a long screw on it and a screw head. And I stepped away from it, and the lamp was hanging there, and there was a gentleman who was there that was paranormal, and he was filming. And I said, we're standing here in the middle of a Pioneer Cemetery, and all of a sudden, the lamp dropped off the post. Now the crowd gasped, and I responded, okay, that's impossible. Well, we looked at the video later, and in the video, you can clearly see, because I had an orange, like neon light inside of it, the lamp lifts up, moves over, and then drops.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I want to see it.
I was shocked. After seeing that video, I was even more shocked. But what's wonderful now is that story has been told throughout the community.
Okay, folks, we had a little brief respite because, let's be honest, the wasps were getting out of control. So we're still in the town park, but we moved over just a little bit, so bear with us. So we were talking about the Spirit Walk, and we're at the end of our show. So, as is my custom, David, I let my guests have the final word. So just tell us about the event, where people can get information, and how they can come out and help support this.
Well, I guess first thing is I'm going to appeal to everybody to please come out and support this. I can assure you a great time. I'm going to throw my storytelling to the best of my ability, take you through some wonderful areas of Aurora, through the downtown core, some wonderful connecting trail areas like off of Yonge Street, visit beautiful places like the Poplar Villa, etc. Not on the inside, but we'll go talk about them. If you come visit us at the Aurora Farmers Market Saturday mornings from 8 to 1 o'clock, we have tickets for sale there. You can reach me at 905-717-6647. StepInTimeAurora@yahoo.com. Send us an email, or visit our blog. The poster's there at StepInTimeAurora.com also. The event, like I said, we're giving 100% of the proceeds. Tickets are $12. It's all ages. We're not going to scare children, so if you want to bring out your kids, please come on out. And like I said, and bring your cameras. We've had some incredible people, like people capture some incredible things on the tours, and it's a community event. And one thing we like people to do at the event is come out and meet your neighbors. I guarantee you're going to feel connected to the community and find out more about this wonderful town called Aurora, or Matchhouse Corners as it used to be called. And I'll probably read you some poetry that I wrote originally for the event too. So.
Thanks so much, David, and thanks for telling us about your Spirit Walk, your work in our community, and this fantastic event that's coming up. When is it again?
Oh, that's one thing I forgot to tell you. The next events are the last 2 Saturdays of September and the last 2 Saturdays of October. Okay. And like I said, come to the booth or give me a call, and If you're looking at, we also, by the way, we do large groups. So if you know an organization that you'd like to bring out several people, I'll do private bookings also through September, October.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Allison.
And, you know, it's a community show. There's ups and there's downs, but I think this has been a great show. We're in the town park. We've got music playing in the background and kids playing in the park, baseball going on. I mean, what more could you ask for? Thanks so much, David.
Thank you.
So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, folks. Until we see you again, stay informed, stay involved, because this is our town. And have a great night.